you know, the problem I'm running into right now is I want to cast on everything at once and work on everything at once. And that is literally impossible. Unless, you know, I found some, you know, multiverse madness where I could gather all of myself from other timelines and we could all knit together in each one of us. But even then, that wouldn't really be me knitting everything all at once. That would be versions of me and we would just be together. Whoa! Did I just go off on a tangent? Big time tangent. Guys, you just saw how my brain works. You just got an inside look into the Carrie Cat Creek brain. Normally this time of year, I do an end of the year kind of best and worst moments of my crafting life, and I just don't feel like doing it this year. I just don't. I mean, I've had some really great moments this year in my crafting life. I made some beautiful things. I've picked up weaving, rigid heddle loom weaving, and I might start doing some videos about that journey for me. But honestly, I just want to look forward. New projects, new hope, new goals. And so today I am going to be sharing with you some of my 2023 goals. And I kind of want to give a shout out to Stitches and Starlight. If you don't know her, she's a YouTube channel and does a podcast. And I was kind of, honestly, I was floundering around a bit on what I wanted to do with this video this year. And I just wasn't feeling terribly inspired. And I saw that she had a whole video about doing a no-buy and a stash down this year and kind of planning out the projects that she was going to work on. And I was like, I think this is inspiration for me. So thank you, Stitches and Starlight, but I definitely want to give you a shout out for inspiring me with today's video. So I've shopped my stash. I've got a lovely pile of yarn here, and each one of these skeins, partially used balls, all of this is designated for specific patterns. So hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, give this video a thumbs up, and find out what I plan to be making in the coming year. This is going to be kind of a chatty video today, but as always, I will have timestamps down in the description box. If you want to skip to something in particular in the video later on, or you're like, wait, she mentioned that pattern and I kind of, what was it again? Let me look at the timestamp. Also down in the description box, you will find a list of resources and the links to the patterns that I mentioned and yarn that I mentioned. Some of these will have clearly marked affiliate links. If you click on one of these links, it'll take you to a place where you can do some shopping. If you make a purchase, I might earn a small commission. Use one of my affiliate links, or you buy me a coffee, or you leave me a super thanks. Thank you so much. It is so greatly appreciated. It really does help me continue on my mission of spreading the love and joy of making things. Let's get on with what I've got planned for 2023. The first pattern, I realized I actually had already started. So this is a whip, but I really want to finish this whip in 2023. So the pattern is June Blooms by Knit Eco Chic. Last year I did a video on my top tips for doing a accurate gauge swatch, and this is actually the pattern that I used for that gauge swatch I featured in the video. And I did get it started, and it starts with a I-cord. Yeah. It starts with an I-cord, and instead of knitting an I-cord, because sometimes I find knitting an I-cord rather tedious, instead I've used a French knitter. Really preferred doing this I-cord with the French knitter over using a double-pointed needle. I do know that at the end of the road on this project, there will be an I-cord bind off, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So this is the yarn that I'm using. It's two colors. I have this dark teal. Spoiler alert, dark teal is going to figure very prominently in my projects in 2023. It's kind of my personal color of the year, apparently. But I have dark teal and this gorgeous silver. The yarn is Prescott, which is a 55% silk, 45% cotton yarn. It's really beautiful. This is a Valley Yarns that you can get at yarn.com, aka Webs.
Hey, Ed and Carrie here. So I was just double checking, and Prescott yarn is actually discontinued. However, on Webs, in their Valley Yarn line, they have another yarn that's similar in fiber content called Holly. It's a cotton silk nylon blend, so I'm guessing that would make a good substitute.
I kind of want to start this, I think, really soon, probably no later than February or March, because this is a garment, it's a vest. I don't tend to knit garments a whole lot, but I'd really love to have this ready to wear by the summer. The next project that I'm planning to do this year, and I'm really tempted to cast it on next, truth be told, is kind of another holdover project. This is High Sierra Shawl by Romi Hill. I saw a picture of this project, and then it went on sale, and I was like, I have to purchase it. I have to get this. And I really did plan to shop my stash for this lace shawl project, but I am going to be starting a new lace shawl project soon, and I'm going to totally shop my stash for the yarn. Yes! I had to buy more yarn for my lace shawl project coming up. Nothing in my stash, it was either not the right kind of yarn or there wasn't enough yardage, and so I caved and I got this yarn for this project. This is a mini skein from Wonderland Yarns. It's called Cheshire Cat. I got this on yarn.com. Let's just take the price tag off. But they have a bunch of these kind of mini skein packs where you get a gradient like this, which is what the High Sierra shawl was designed to use. But I needed a certain number of quantity of a neutral yarn, and I found this, this is Monostel Uruguay. It's 100% merino superwash. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to cake all of this up and get started on this project. And I just love the color gray. I just love it so much. Oh, sorry. I put it against my cheek and now I just want to pet it like it's a, an animal, like it's my pet. Sometimes when I need a mood boost, I just put yarn against my face and do this. Hi, speak to me. You're saying I want to be in the High Sierra shawl. I hear you. I think it's gonna work out. I can't wait to try. Okay. All right, so a lot of times certain types of knit patterns in a year will just sort of call to me. Like 2021 was sort of my year of fingerless gloves, and I do still love making fingerless gloves. Last year was sort of my year of lace shawls and scarves, and I made the clapetty.
This is a classic free pattern still available on knitty.com.
I'm working on finishing a scarf that my mother-in-law who passed away last year had been working on. I'm almost done with that. And of course we have my shawl here. This is the half fade half shawl by Lavish Design. This is sort of what I think of my masterpiece of 2022. And I obviously am planning to make another lace shawl for 2023, but I'm feeling like 2023 is my year of hats and color work. I'm just feeling the need to do color work, and I am feeling the need to make hats, and the project that is going to sort of bring these two things together is the Golem hat by Woolly Wormhead. It has these little robots on them. They're so adorable. I love robots so much. I'm very excited about it. And I'm actually in a bit of a dilemma, so I'd love to hear your opinion because now I'm going to tell you right now, the yarn that I've chosen for this is Discontinued. And oh my God, if Webs would bring this back, I would be so freaking happy. Please bring it back. This is Valley Yarn Northampton Sport. I bought a bunch of this many moons ago now when I was working on a cardigan. The cardigan was never completed. It got caught by moths. Moths got at it. But anyway, I still have all this yarn from that project, and I love this yarn. First of all, I love the regular Webs Northampton yarn. It is one of my favorite yarns. It's a go-to. If you don't know, Valley Yarns Northampton is a Peruvian Highland wool yarn. It's the same type of fiber that you find in Cascade 220, and that's in Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. I just think the Northampton's better.
Hey, Ed and Carrie, something I want to clarify. The worsted weight Northampton yarn from Valley Yarns is still available. That's like a staple in the Valley Yarn lineup. The discontinued yarn that I'm going to be using is Valley Yarn Sport, which is a lighter weight yarn than the regular Northampton.
Highland Peruvian yarn has become my favorite workhorse wool. This fiber comes from a crossbreed of a merino and a Corriedale sheep. So it's not as soft as merino, but it is very soft, but it has just a little bit more oomph to it, like a little bit more just hardiness to the yarn than just merino does. It's just a wonderful crossbreed. I'm definitely using the red, and I want the red to be the color B, the contrast color that makes up the robot motif. What I'm debating is which color I want to use for the background, the color A. What my heart is calling to is this red and dark teal together. Oh my God, is this not gorgeous? This is a gorgeous combination, and I think the reason it's so gorgeous is the red and the teal. It's almost like doing a contrast color because teal is a blue-green, and of course green is the contrasting color to red, and so this red is going to pull out some more of the green that's in this dark teal, and oh, it's so pretty together. Here's my concern. This dark teal and this red, the color value is nearly the same. Color value is something that can be a little tricky to see with the naked eye, but something you can do with your camera. Take a photo of the two yarns and then take that photo and edit it to make it black and white, and you'll see the color values because the hue is out of the way, and you'll just see like how light and dark the two colors are to each other. And so on the one hand, there's a lot of contrast between the two colors, so I think the robots will stand out. But my concern is the values are so close together that the motif might muddle together. But another test you can do, and this is like OG testing, is you take the two yarns and you barber pull them together, you twist them together, and then you kind of squint. And if you can see a separation of the two colors, like you can really see it, then the color values should work with each other. So I think that there's enough contrast between the two hues of the red and the teal that it could work, but I feel like it's a bit of a risk. The other option, because again, I'm committed to using the red, is to pair it with this denim blue heathered color instead. Now the denim blue and the red together is a much safer choice. There's more contrast in value, and obviously there's a contrast in color between these two. I think the red would work still really nicely against this blue. It's not a neutral color, it's blue, but it's almost like a faux neutral. I feel like blues a lot of times will work with colors, almost any color. And it would be lovely. It would still be lovely. I just feel like this is so much more interesting. Like this just seems so much more interesting to me. But this is safer. But this is more interesting. But this is safer. But this is more. Okay, so point being, in the comments below, let me know what you think. Should I go with the dark teal or should I go with the denim blue? I've got time to decide. I'm not casting this on tomorrow, so there's time to choose, but ooh, tough choice here. All right, next up is another Colorwork project. This is March Flowers Mitts by Carrie Bullock Ozcan. If you've been following me, maybe you remember when I got so excited about this pattern, I had to purchase it right away. And then it sat in my queue and I have not worked on it. Mostly because I was just, I don't know, well, I do know why. I was kind of like dithering, if you will, on my color selection for this stranded Colorwork. But I have finally narrowed it down. Once again, dark teal is going to feature heavily. Dark teal is going to be my main color. I just didn't want to do green, but this I felt like kind of had that feeling of green. I'm going to be using this cream color for the background in the Colorwork section, and then my May flowers, which are tulips, and I love tulips so much, are going to be this corally pinky orange color. Now, if these two colors look familiar to you, that is because this is yarn that I have left over from my Fair Isle sock pattern, which is in my banner, my YouTube banner. So I have quite a bit of this yarn, so it felt like a good opportunity to use some of this up. And this white yarn is going to be utilized, whatever's left over, for another project that I will go over next. So yes, I'm finally getting around to making my March Flowers knits, and I do feel like this is a project that I probably should start around February, maybe in March, so that I have them for the spring, because it just feels like I should have them for the spring. But yeah, very excited to cast these on, and I don't think this project will take a terribly long time to make. These are fingerless gloves after all. Okay, so I mentioned with this cream yarn, I'm gonna have lots of this yarn left over from the fingerless glove project. So I'm gonna use this leftover yarn from this skein to work on the next project, which is a sock project involving Colorwork called the Amphitrite. I gotta look at my phone. Amphitrite socks. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Amphitrite socks by Nicole Simmons. I really love the sort of like the little burst of Colorwork in the cuff and the foot of the sock. And this is a great project, honestly, to use up a small bit of leftover yarn that you have from another project, because according to the pattern, you only need about 25 grams of that contrasting yarn. Unfortunately for me, I could not find a ball of sock yarn that was around 25 grams. I have one ball that's around 21 grams that I really wanted to use, but I did not want to lose yarn chicken on this project. So instead, I'm going to use whatever yarn I have left over from this skein. I think I'll have more than enough. And then I've got this beautiful purple color for the main color. Isn't it beautiful? It's just so beautiful. It's just such a beautiful heathered purple yarn. And I think it's just going to pair really beautifully. I can see the sock in my head. I think it's going to be gorgeous. I think those are all the Colorwork projects I have planned for the year. The hat, the fingerless gloves, and then the socks. But Carrie, you said it was gonna be your year of hats, and you've only talked about one hat. Well, don't worry. I've got 2 more woolly wormhead hats I want to make this year. The next woolly wormhead hat I want to make this year is Annular. And for this, I'm going to try to use this yarn. I have had this yarn in my stash for so long. And I'm not even kidding. This yarn I might have had this yarn for 20 years. This is Lamb's Pride worsted. The name of it is Tormented Teal. And I think it's gonna be really lovely in this hat, I hope. I'm a little nervous about this because this is obviously a variegated yarn, and the hat has a traveling stitch pattern across it on a pearl background, but I'm a little nervous that because this is variegated yarn, those cable crosses may not stand out. So, but I'm willing to risk it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this hat turns out and using up some of this gorgeous Lamb's Pride yarn. All right, the next hat project that I'm going
to work on in 2023 is Annular by Woolly Wormhead. This is a twisted stitch pattern hat. And
depending on whether I use the dark teal or the denim blue for the Golem hat will determine which color I use for this hat. Because if I use the dark teal, then I'm going to use the denim for this hat, and if I use the denim, then obviously I'm going to use the dark teal for that hat. This hat I'm excited about because it's kind of like a tam, and tams are my favorite kind of hat to wear. Truthfully, I like slouchy beanies, and I like tams. I don't like beanies that are really close to my head because I end up with hat hair, and my hair being the way it is, it just sort of springs out, and I don't like the look of it. But I like slouchy hats and I like tams, and this feels like, it's kind of feels like tam-like to me, very roomy, and I could tuck my hair up into it. So yeah, I'm excited about this hat. Okay, so those are my knitting goals for 2023. Like I said, these are goals. This is a roadmap for me of projects I might want to, or I want to work on as of right now. Is this all I'm going to be making in 2023? No, of course not. Inspiration might strike. I might come across something else where I'm like, I have to make that now. Plus, I have other crafts. I've started rigid heddle weaving. I really love doing Tunisian crochet. There's some Tunisian crochet projects that I like to get around to. There's of course seed bead weaving, which is definitely something I want to get back into this year more than ever. So all that being said, I would love to hear from you. I mean, I've asked some questions throughout the video, but I'd love to hear from you. What knitting goals or plans do you have for 2023? Is there a project that you're really excited about? Is there a type of project that you want to do? Do you want this to be your year of sweaters or socks or gloves? Is there a new technique that you're wanting to explore that you haven't done before? I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below of what you think you might want your 2023 making life to look like. That is it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and this exploration of projects and yarns I'm planning to use, and hopefully this can also be an inspiration for you, like Stitches and Starlight's video was for me on kind of how to look at my stash and my projects in my queue to kind of get me inspired for the coming year. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your other making friends. Liking videos, sharing videos, commenting on videos are all great ways to help support and grow this community. Also, if you have not already, please make sure that you are subscribed and you hit the notification bell. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you have a wonderful day, evening, weekend, weeknight, whenever you may be watching this. I hope you have a wonderful 2023 ahead of you. And as always, happy health and happy making. Bye. I need a song for the new year. What's a good song for the new year? Because it's not so sad to say goodbye to yesterday this year. I think we're all ready to move past 2022. I know I am. We're totally ready to move past 2022. All right, I'm happy with that. Looking forward to a new year. Cha-cha-cha. Next hat project that I'm going to be working on, Annular.